Good morning, everyone. Today we're in Sedona. This is a beautiful little chapel built in Chalacahuaca Chapel in Sedona Park. It's a recreated shopping center that matches a place in Mexico. So we'll sketch it out. Pretty much watch that. I'm starting with the bell tower, which is very important. So I want to get a good place for it on my paper, and it's pretty much the focus. Everything goes up to it. So always, you start very light. Always get your shapes in place, proportions right. And bell is very important. Place it in the center. The tile roof. A little perspective here, having it go back, and then you can see it comes forward here where there's a nice pathway of people coming in. It's very crowded, a lot of shoppers there. We're painting there on a Saturday, and it was very busy. Okay, these pots, you just put them in together. The main one is that front one. Okay, we have there's a nice, these pots have a little tree growing out of them, a nice bush, a lot of shadows here. And then there's a wall in the front, which is turning towards the right, and it's very prominent. A little lantern on there. Okay, enjoy that. Take your time and draw it out, because it's a little complicated. But as you're drawing, you're always thinking about painting it, so we'll get right into that. Okay, a little cobalt blue here, and I always put in this case, I always put a little of phthalo blue, Windsor blue up there to brighten it up, just to get a little brightness in there. If you want, you could put a little cobalt blue teal on the bottom. It always makes a nice morning sky. If you want, you put some clouds. You take a towel and pat out the suggestion of the clouds, the character, how you want them, and then go in with your thumb and wrapped in a towel and press much harder, and you'll get those nice clear edges. And while it's wet, it always makes nice soft edges. Don't forget to go back in and paint the sky behind the bell there. All right, we'll paint the building. The building is raw sienna and maybe a little quin sienna mixed in or dropped on after it. Just get that right in there. Cover the whole thing. No worries. If there was anything you needed, you can always lift it out. On the street there, I'm throwing in some cobalt blue very loosely, as you can see, and if it turns green, that means you have too much yellow. Drop a little rose in there and that'll gray it down. All right, going back to the steeple, putting a tiny bit of cobalt blue in there, cooling it down. Up there, a lot of light, a lot of bounced light. All right, dropping it down in here. It's a stucco building, so once it dries, you can go over it and put another, you don't want another layer of color, but you can scumble it, like I'm doing here. This is that front wall I was mentioning. It's very prominent, and you just, spatter some. I put some quinceañera in there. Just scumbled it, and it gives it a nice rough stucco kind of look to it. I grade down my cobalt blue up here with just a pinch of raw sienna or quinceañera. Paint that steeple, drop some blue in there. Very dark quinceañera and ultramarine here. Get this very dark interior, but you can also drop some quinceañera or raw sienna in there. Once you paint this, you can see I didn't come all the way down with that dark, and the reason is because it's getting much more light down here. So I'm adding some raw sienna to it and on the bell. Okay, we'll paint those pots. That's all it's all quinceañera or raw sienna. These are quinceañera. You don't have to worry about the shadows yet. Just paint the pots, and this is all covered by shadow, but we'll go back into that. All right, a lot of trees in the background here. This is, I'm using Aurelian yellow and a little bit of cobalt blue teal will give you a nice bright yellow, and then you can add some cobalt blue to it to get these darker greens with and mix in some raw sienna, as you can see. The beauty of trees, any green is to variety. Get a lot of variety. You can change your yellows, you can change your blues, but if depending on what you're looking for in those trees. Over here we have very dark, this is all in shadow, so I painted the dark section first, added some Aurelian yellow to it, getting more light as it goes up, and then this is in the corner, so it's a very dark tree. I'm painting the top of it, putting some branches in there with just a pinch of that quinceañera, little shadow on the bottom of these plants. You can see that bright. This is cobalt blue teal with Aurelian yellow on the top of those plants, and you can go in and just touch them with a towel to get some light on them. And as you do that, you can pinch them forward to get some branches. All right, same yellow on top there, Aurelian yellow, cobalt blue teal. A lot of trees in the background. So you want to get those in there. Important to make sure that the line isn't straight across. Get some, trees don't grow that way. They grow where they want to grow. So get them up and down. And there's a tree on the right here that's very dark growing in. Add a little cobalt blue to that. All right, nice shadow underneath the tile roof there, and that's a violet. It looks gray, but it's a violet, rose and blue, and then I added the raw sienna to it. The raw sienna is creating a beautiful warm shadow. This stucco reflects. It's very warm. And the sun just pumps up that color. So it's violet, but put a lot of raw sienna in that shadow, and you'll get that beautiful reflective light look that works so well. All right, I'm adding some quinceañera here in the front. This is that wall I put a lot of stucco on. It's very rough, and you want to give it that look of that nice stucco. So same thing, little violet with quinceañera, creating those shadows in the front. All right, and then you have the violet shadows here. All right, leave some white there to show, don't paint the whole thing shadow, but leave that white. All right, then, when it dries, go back, put some, accent the shadows here and there, like underneath the eaves of these, this creative dental work here, and all the moldings is a much deeper shadow, so you want to restate some of those lines to accent it. And now you can drop in some people when it dries. These are just nice, you know, figures walking. They're not portraits, nothing you have to worry about. You know, if you want, go back and watch my video on putting in figures for size and shape and so forth. So there's a couple here walking around, changing the color a little bit here, and there's a couple of 3 figures in the back, very small. They just add so much to your painting. It's really a fun thing to do. Again, little accents here and there of shadow, putting a little shadow on the pots. They show you where the light's coming from and just add so much to your painting. Going back a little bit of touch up here and there. Okay, all right, there's a plant in the front that I missed. There's a little stand, but there's a nice plant and it has some white flowers on it, so I thought I'd put it back in now. It adds to that foreground with that beautiful wall in the back. So there's the plant. A little bit of it's in this cement stand, and then there's some flowers on it. Okay, so there's the finished painting. Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. Enjoy yourself, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you again very soon.